So Tom Brady, someone Donald Trump deeply respects, skewered the former president at a visit to the White House. Let's talk about it in today's video. Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. If you share my concerns, maybe you could like this video and subscribe to this channel, maybe even click that little bell that will notify you when I post something new. So I'm going to say perhaps the most controversial thing I've ever said on this channel, and it's that I'm a longtime New England Patriots fan. Being from New England, I was a fan of theirs back when they couldn't win a game to save their lives. Even when they made it to the Super Bowl, they still managed to embarrass themselves. I found it really ironic when people were talking about the New England Patriots as being a dynasty. That seemed to run totally counter to my prior experience. Nevertheless, when Tom Brady was there, they certainly had a winning record, no doubt about that. Well, Tom Brady, of course, showed just how reliant the New England Patriots were on him when he decamped to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and in so doing, took them to the Super Bowl. Well, yesterday, in a pretty routine White House ceremony, Tom Brady joked around with President Biden, making a few jokes at the expense of the former president. Let's watch them on this video.
It didn't look great there. At one point, we were 7-5, struggling a little bit, as the president alluded to. But we found our rhythm. We got on a roll. Not a lot of people, think that we could have won. And in fact, I think about 40% of the people still don't think we won.
I understand that.
You understand that, Mr. President?
I understand that.
Yeah. And personally, it's nice for me to be back here. We had a game in Chicago where I forgot what down it was. I lost track of one down in 21 years of playing. And they started calling me Sleepy Tom. Why would they do that to me?
Now, those jokes might seem like mild jabs to many observers, but in fact they're deeply wounding to Donald Trump, who deeply respects Tom Brady as a winner. And for Tom Brady to essentially compare himself to Joe Biden in these jokes as opposed to Donald Trump would be something that I'm sure is deeply upsetting to the former president. I mean, after all, for years, Donald Trump tried to woo the friendship of Tom Brady.
Many times to some of his great golf resorts, and we've had a lot of fun together, so we'll see what turns out of him as a politician, but he's certainly a great friend. And
Donald Trump even asked Tom Brady to speak on his behalf at the 2016 Republican National Convention, something Tom Brady turned down.
He wanted me to speak at that convention too, and I think that I wasn't going to do anything political. Like I met him in 2001. In 2002, he asked me, after I won my first Super Bowl, to go judge a Miss USA competition, which I thought was the coolest thing in the world. He would call me after games, and I watch your game, Tom, and let's play golf together. So 2003, 2004, but and then the whole political aspect came, and I think I got brought into a lot of those things because it was so polarizing around the election time that was uncomfortable for me because you can't undo things, and not that I would undo a friendship but, the political support is totally different than the support of a friend.
And yet here he is joking around with Joe Biden. Must be galling to Donald Trump. One thing that struck me about this video, though, is how natural Joe Biden seemed. I mean, he is actually a good guy. It's such a contrast to this person who we had in the White House for the past 4 years, who really was most distinguished by how mean he was. Famously, Donald Trump has really no sense of humor. I mean, here's Michael Cohen, his former friend and attorney, talking about the fact that he doesn't laugh. He doesn't tell jokes. He doesn't have a sense of humor. He means it when he says it. And here's Anderson Cooper talking about Trump's lack of sense of humor.
Maybe the humor is just too subtle and nuanced, and it went right over my head because, as we all know, this president is incredibly witty, constantly making jokes and pithy observations. In fact, we pulled together a highlight reel of all his best jokes. There aren't any.
So what a contrast it is to actually have a decent human being in the White House. Donald Trump's jokes were never really jokes and were often efforts to cover over his own insecurities. And to the extent that he actually made things that could be considered jokes, they were more akin to things that Triumph the Insult comic dog would say rather than some decent human being. But of course, by now we should know what a fine and decent human being Joe Biden is, whether you agree with him in politics or not. I mean, just look at this video here.
Hey, what's your name?
Owen, this is my son, Braden.
Hey, Braden, how are you, man?
We're here because he stutters and we wanted to hear you speak.
Oh, man, come on. Hey, I tell you what. Don't let it define you. You are smart as hell. Now you really are. You can do that. Can I get a phone number for you and I can tell you what I used to do and how I would do it? Can you take his phone? Because there's about 25 stutterers I continue to work with. And I can tell you the things that help me. I know, by the way, the hardest thing is talking on the telephone. So I don't expect you to be able to. But when I stuttered, I used to talk like this. And it took a lot of practice, but I promise you you can do it. I promise you. And don't let it define you. You're handsome, you're smart, you're a good guy. I really mean it. Don't let it define you. And you know when I say I know about bullies, you know about bullies. The kids who make fun, it's going to change, honey. I promise you.
It practically moves me to tears. But I don't know whether those tears are tears from the emotion of seeing such a deep and moving encounter or tears of joy for actually having a decent human being in the White House again. Well, if you agree with me or disagree with me, I'd love to hear your comments down below. And if you could like this video and subscribe to this channel, that'd be a huge help. I'll see you in the next video. And in the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.